May 9th meeting of the Historic Courthouse Square Historic Preservation Commission. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda for today?
I so move.
Second? Okay, sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, and then to approve the minutes from April the 1st. Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, staff report.
I'll just point out that case number 452A, you'll notice it's a sign that we had last month as well, and they installed an incorrectly fabricated sign, so this is a correction. So that's why it has a new case number. That's it.
Oh, that's your staff report. All righty, let's go. All right, case number 450, First Presbyterian Church for demolition of existing structure for property located at 302 South 11th Street.
Okay, so the commission considered the demolition of the existing building and to install landscaping at our last meeting, the April 2024 meeting, on a complimentary basis. 302 South 11th Street is a former warehouse building that served a variety of uses as a warehouse storage for a lumber company, as a restaurant, and most recently as a building owned and used by First Presbyterian Church. The proposed landscaping plan includes the existing parking as well as sod on the existing building site and plants around the newly grassed area. So as we always do with a demolition, you'll consider the criteria for demolition, vote on the proposed demolition, and then take a second vote for, in this case, the new landscaping plan. So I'll go ahead and read those criteria into the record. Demolition procedures from section 5427 of the Oxford Municipal Code. In considering any application for the demolition of a landmark or a resource within a preservation district, the following shall be considered. The commission shall consider the individual, architectural, cultural, or historical significance of the resource. The commission shall consider the importance or contribution of the resource to the architectural character of the district. The commission shall consider the importance or contribution of the resource to neighboring property values. The commission shall consider the difficulty or impossibility of reproducing such a resource because of its texture, design, material, or detail. For commercially zoned property, the commission may issue a certificate of appropriateness for demolition without requiring a simultaneous certificate of appropriateness for new construction after evaluating the historic resource inventory and considering a recommendation from the historic preservation consultant or city planning official following the elements A through D, which are the 4 criteria I just read. City code requires that a landscaping plan is included with the issuance of a permit, which the church has provided. And I'll note that the church has followed all of the requirements of the ordinance in terms of notification of neighbors. That notification's been placed on site, and we have not received any comment from the public in written or verbal form regarding this plan. Staff is recommending approval of the certificate of appropriateness with the condition that the required landscaping bond, certified check, or letter of credit is provided to the city, and they've already provided the city with a certified check in the event that they are approved. So staff is recommending approval. Would anybody from the church like to speak?
Anybody up here? Questions? All right. Is there a second?
Second.
You're moving to approve the demolition, right?
Yep.
And you have a second? Okay. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right. So now we need a motion to approve the landscaping plan.
Motion.
Yeah. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. All right. On to the next one. Case number, 451. Mark? Hey, what up?
I could do it. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, you're too long-winded.
Yeah, we gotta keep it.
We gotta keep it to it, yeah.
There you go. Okay, so we also discussed this on a complimentary basis last month, but this is for changes to the existing, we're calling it the city grocery parking lot. We all know where that is. To build a new dumpster enclosure and to remove the existing rear decks and build new rear decks and storage enclosures. The city received funding from the American Rescue Plan Act to install a storm tech detention system underneath the existing parking lot, so that's stormwater management system, which will mitigate water issues in the area. That project will include demolishing the existing asphalt, installing the new chambers, and reconstructing all curbs and gutters in the area. In addition to that work, the city proposes a new dumpster enclosure and landscaping parking islands that are going to meet our current requirements of our land development code. So anytime we're doing this type of project, we want to update everything to match what our requirements are. The proposed dumpster enclosure will be brick with metal doors to match other enclosures built by the city in recent years. You can see one behind this building. Mark included a few examples, which we can scroll to if we want. The proposed materials are compatible with the requirements of the design guidelines, as well as existing buildings in the Courthouse Square district. As a part of the project, the existing rear decks will need to be removed from the businesses that front Van Buren, where their rear elevations face the parking lot. The details of this part of the project are not fully fleshed out, but we are asking for approval for the design that Mark has proposed, so we go ahead and have that on record while we keep working out those details with the property owners. They're simple in style and are appropriate for the non-primary elevation. So you're seeing now those steel landings and stairs with storage underneath. So staff is recommending approval of the city's proposal. And I'm sure Mark would answer any questions that you guys have.
Any questions?
He designed it, so.
Are there any handicap parking spaces there?
Yes, ma'am, there will be. So I think for this commission, anything that's vertical, we're trying to get approved tonight. So that would be the enclosure. She said it, but it's going to be 2 compactors, like the long trash compactors, and then it's going to be an underground grease tank. It's the same setup we have at the parking garage site. It's tucked away nicely. It's going to be our brick that we've used at our park and parking garage. It's changed slightly, but it's basically a version of that. And then we're using the Urbane Bronze color, which is like the brownish color for all the powder coat of the steel docks. And we're still trying to figure out what on the back of those buildings, if we can build that. So, but we are asking for approval so that that if a business wants to come back and build that, we would have something to go by. That's really what we're doing.
You're referring to the decks with the steps?
Yes. So not to get into too many details of the project, but our city-owned property right-of-way runs all the way back to those buildings, and we are actually doing work all the way to the buildings because we have to convey all the water from the back of those buildings to our detention structure, which means we have to regrade that and build curbs, and so we're going to have to remove that what's existing there, which I think most people are happy with because they're pretty unsightly, and then the question is what we're going to come back with.
I love that you can't, I assume that you can't see through those louvers for all the used refrigerator parts and fast food wrappers they like to store under the.
That's right.
Okay.
But there again, there may be some, we're still working through some of that because technically nothing's supposed to be stored on that. That's private property anyway, so. Even if we don't come back with this, there won't be refrigerator parts under this. So,
Could you remind me about the number of parking places we have now versus what you will have?
I think we're losing a net of like six or 9. But the ones we have there now, you can't park there 24 hours a day. You can only park in certain spots, certain times a day because of the way the circulation for the garbage truck, the way it has to drive through parking spaces to be able to pull the dumpster. So, I mean, we're losing a few spaces, but this is going to be better. This is going to function a lot better.
Right now on big weekends, there's about 4 or 5 parking spaces that have temporary
Yeah,
dumpsters
temporary.
in them also, which that volume will be taken in by this new trash enclosure. Yeah, so I think ultimately will it feel like we're losing?
Just want to know that.
Yeah, and I mean, not to get into too many details, we are putting drains in that dumpster enclosure areas. They're going to wash that down pretty regularly, and that'll go to a separate separate drain, so I do think it'll feel a lot cleaner in that area.
Mark, what did you find out about fixing those steps to the back of those buildings?
Well, we're still talking to the board about what decision they want to make. I mean, ultimately, I think it's their decision how they want to handle that. And all we know is we have to take what's there out to be able to do what we're trying to do.
I understand.
The question is what to come back with.
If you do attach them, that you talk to the property owner.
Sure. We won't be, the city won't be attaching anything to those buildings, but if,
Who would they?
well, if the owner comes for revocable license, if that's the model that the board wants to go ahead with, then they can attach it to it because it's their building. If that makes sense.
No, it doesn't. I'm sorry.
So the city will, what we build back won't be attached to the building.
Okay. I guess that answers my question.
Yeah, I guess there is a scenario where the owners come back to build something instead of what we've proposed. And if that's the case, they have to get a license from the city to be able to build back.
Okay.
And if they do that, if they design something where they attach to their own building,
Sure.
then they can do that. They'd have to get, yes, no matter what, you're gonna see what's going back.
Right, I
Yeah.
understand. But now that I think I understand that you're not going to attach them to the buildings?
I mean, these steel docks aren't attached.
They're not.
They're not,
Right, just want to make sure I understood.
yeah.
Do we have any public comments or questions?
So we're gonna open bids, I think, next week, get started.
You gonna do it this summer? Great.
Couple weeks.
And it'll be ripped up till the end of August.
There'll be some kind of parking there for when football's there, I know that. It may be gravel, but there'll be people parking in that lot.
And will the Presbyterian be torn down so y'all can use that, hopefully? or-
That's what we're gonna talk about. It's all coming together nicely from the timing standpoint. Thank y'all are part of that.
Can we get a motion to?
Right, is there a motion to approve?
I so move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right,
Thank y'all.
case passes. Anything else? Not like Stuart said, we got a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
And third.
All right, let's go.
I wasn't here last month, but why